It's Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank here on WCCS AM 1160 and FM 101.1. Good morning. Thanks for being with us here today. Last week, the League of Women Voters of Indiana County welcomed Senator Art Hayward to town to promote what he calls the Fair Share Tax Plan. That's the name he's given to Senate Bill 555, the Fair Share Tax Plan. And, of course, for a long time, the Senate has been working on House Bill and Senate Bill 76, the Property Tax Independence Act. And on the telephone with us this morning from Harrisburg, hard at work, is Senator Don White. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you with us here today. So, Senator was here last week, and he was talking about this Fair Share Tax Plan and the contrast that it makes with Senate Bill 76, the Property Tax Independence Act. As you consider those two bills and place them side by side, is there one that you favor over another? Are there real problems that you see with either one?
Well, Senate Bill 555 is certainly not it's not something I'm giving any consideration to. First of all, Senator Hayward is a distinguished senator, and I've enjoyed working with him since he's been here. But this bill has three co-sponsors. It has no traction. What it basically does would change how income is taxed and would tax wage income differently than business and investment income. So wages would be taxed at, 2.8%, and business income, dividends, and royalties would be doubled to more than 6.5%. Now, first of all, I don't even know if it's constitutional. Mm-hmm. It's very clear in the Constitution that all taxes must be levied equally on the same kind of taxpayer. So income is income regardless of how it's derived. More importantly, this proposal would more than double the income tax on small businesses and royalties from things like gas leases. And guess who is considered a small business and has lots of royalties for gas rates? Our farmers. Mm. This bill would absolutely devastate the ag community. So it also would increase the taxes on rental income, estate income, family trust income. And when you consider this bill would only slightly reduce the tax and wages. It goes from 3.07 to 2.8, while more than doubling the tax on all other income to 6.5%. I don't see that as a win in any way, shape, or form for our community, and the impact on farms alone should be reason not to oppose it. What they're looking at this as an alternative. See, I came one vote in October of 2015 to getting Senate Bill 76 passed. One vote. And I'll admit the enthusiasm sort of wound down because we had a lot of opposition from the business community. But since that time, you got to remember, this is an election year. Mm-hmm. I think that we are going to look at alternatives. The voters just last November, there was a ballot referendum that allows us to investigate ways to reduce property taxes on the residential property. Mm-hmm. So to eliminate all school property taxes, the tax would increase from, just on the homes, from 6 to 7%. And most exemptions would be eliminated, and the income tax would increase from 3.07 to roughly 4.95. Prior to the Constitution being amended, which you just did, the tax needed to eliminate on all property, including commercial and rental properties. So now we can look at just the residential homes. And that amounts to total eliminate property taxes for everybody is $15 million, and now this would get down to $7 billion. Mm-hmm. $15 billion to $7 billion. And that's where our focus needs to be, not giving our government, which loves to spend money, $2 billion more to spend on things that nobody has certified as being a direct recipient of. I'm sorry. I'm a no vote on this bill, and I don't think it's going to get any serious discussion in any way, shape, or form here in Harrisburg.
Some of the material prepared in advance of the meeting last week, talking about House Bill 76, noted the decrease on taxes on property in Indiana County, in their words, would not be significant to Indiana County citizens. But yet we're hearing all kinds of poll results that say that for citizens across Pennsylvania, that's the number one issue.
It is. It is the number one issue, and it's been the number one issue since I've been here. I'm talking 18 years, and this property tax is unfair. It's discriminatory. It gives the taxpayer no control, and we have very little say. And I think the education field in this state has received enough money. I think we just, at this point in time, we need to worry about cutting expenses, cutting spending, and not concerning ourselves with something like this, a bill like 555, which does nothing to lower our property taxes and gives money to us down here in Harrisburg to spend on our whims and wishes. I'm embarrassed to even have to consider trying to tell people that this bill means something to me, because it doesn't have any positive effect.
So with the changes that have been made since 2015 in House and Senate Bill 76, I would assume that you're more comfortable than ever with its chances of passing in Harrisburg. But you tell me, is it something that you consider that has a real chance now?
I do, because we've lowered it. The expansion of it once went to businesses, which, think about it, we have the Homer City Power Plant. Any big industry would, to eliminate property taxes for them, certainly it's not going to do anything but put us in a position where we'll have to raise taxes down the road. Centralizing strictly on property taxes on our homes, our homestead, is what the voters said that they wanted us to do last November, and that has always been my focus, will continue to be my focus. Certainly not a bill like 555, which does nothing but give a nice money grab for our state government.
So by reducing it, you would be reducing it by about $7 billion with the loss of the residential property taxes for education. Those monies then would have to be made up, and the proposals would be increases in sales taxes and use taxes and expanding the list of items on which the tax would be applied. Is that correct? And is that the way that you see that it going?
Well, it's an open ball game. Right now, there are two specific proposals that seem to be great, getting favored down here. It would raise the PI tax to 3.3%, sales tax to 7%, and that's a little less hit than what I told you before. For total elimination for all property would have been 4.95%, and going to 8% on the sales tax. So I think this is more palatable to everybody. This is a focus that I think that we can all gather together, both the Senate and the House, and I think the governor would have an awfully tough time vetoing this if we pass it in both chambers.
Well, then that was my next question. In the past, well, Governor Wolf has had no qualms about vetoing something, believing that he has enough legislative strength that any override vote would fail. And the governor, in your conversations with him or with his staff, has he indicated any sort of position on House Bill 76 or Senate Bill 76?
Well, he had, let's go back to October of 15. He had his partner in the Mike Stack, who presides over the Senate. He cast the deciding vote. he cast the deciding vote against Senate Bill 76 passing through the Senate. I feel they got all the pushback earlier than we did from the business community and everything, so you can argue whether that was the right thing to do or not. But I think you'd have an awful tough time if we pass one of the two versions that are being proposed now that would eliminate totally the taxes on the homestead and nothing else. I think he'd have an awfully tough time explaining that to his constituents.
Is there support from anyone on the Democratic side for Senate Bill 76?
Well, I think, once again, I said this is an election year. And there are a lot of people out there that own properties that live in Democrat districts, too. I think they're going to get a lot of pressure. If this really gets off the ground and gets going and gets some enthusiasm from the communities and everybody back home, you know how much enthusiasm we had there for a while on Senate Bill 76. I think, it's not what it was. It's not totally eliminating property taxes, but it is on your home, and that's truly going to be helpful. And I think he'd have a tough time, and the Democrats would have a tough time not jumping on board.
Senator Don White with us this morning. So you're in Harrisburg this morning. What do you have, committee meetings or session as a whole?
Session as a whole. I have my Bank and Insurance Committee meeting actually at 10:30 today, and we don't have as much snow as you do. How are we coping back there?
We're doing well. The sun is now out, and the roads are just a big slushy mess at the moment, but compared to earlier today, they're much, much better.
We just got a little sprinkling here, but it's cold. It's probably 25 degrees.
All right. Terrific. Well, you enjoy your day. Thank you for spending some time with us this morning here on Indiana in the Morning.
Sure thing. Always my pleasure.
All right. Thank you, Senator.
Bye-bye.
There is Senator Don White joining us from Harrisburg this morning. So two plans out there. One is Senate Bill, also House Bill 76. The other is Senate Bill 555, both up for consideration in the Senate. Senator White obviously making his feelings known about where he stands in relation to those two bills and the event with